What up, everybody? So this is the start of my little series on blacksmithing. And now, let me preface all this. I know like that tiny little bit much. So please do not take anything I say as gospel. I have learned what I do know from YouTube and a couple books. Check out Mike Reed. I'll leave a link down below. He is an expert with blacksmithing. And he is where I've gotten a lot of my knowledge from. Now, first part here. This one's going to be an easy one. And what we're going to be doing is we're going to be making a forge. Now, if you maybe have seen my other video, I used some just a soup can and some fiberglass batting type high temperature stuff. And it technically worked, but not like I wanted it to. So what I'm going to do is I'm upgrading it using a 1 gallon paint can, and I'm going to be using plaster of Paris. Yeah, make sure I show you the English side of it. Plaster of Paris to actually make the lining. So, what do you need? Well, you don't need a whole lot. You need a bucket for mixing, you need the plaster of Paris, and you need water. Now, the other two things that you are going to need is you're going to need a way to keep your hole in the middle for whatever you're going to be using to blacksmith on. And so what I'm going to be using is a map gas. Or no, is this map or is this? Yeah, the map gas holder. Just put it right in there and everything will go around it in theory. So here we go. Anytime you're messing around with mixing things, when you have a dry ingredient and a wet ingredient, it's always preferable to go lighter on the liquid, because you can always add more water or whatever to it a lot easier than you can with adding more dry mix. The only other thing that I didn't say that I needed at the beginning is you need some sand. It doesn't necessarily call for sand with the plaster of Paris, because it's not necessarily meant for this, but adding the sand helps with just the heat distribution and all that kind of stuff. So let me grab that and I'll be right back. All right, everybody. The directions for this say 2 parts plaster of Paris to 1 part water. So what we're going to do is we're going to follow that, but then add in sand as we go, just to kind of make it a little thicker and this, that, and whatnot. All right, everybody. So we're just eyeballing here. We're not actually going to be taking measurements. So we're going to throw some of the plaster in here. Again, this doesn't have to be exact measurements or anything like that. All right, got it in there. Now we're going to take some sand, pour it in there as well. And then the fun part, we're going to start slowly adding water and mixing it up. Now you notice I got gloves on because this is going to get messy and sticky. Let me drop the phone down so you guys can kind of see. All right, here we go. Start putting some in. Just little by little. Now you want to get it all nice and incorporated in there. Get in there, get dirty with it. All right, everybody, that's the first little glob of it. Now I'm going to add more plaster, more sand, more water. All right, everybody, there's a big glob of it. So now what I'm going to do, I'm going to take my paint can, just drop it down in there, in theory. Here we go. All right, there we go. We got our first couple inches. Now, honestly, I'm gonna let this all dry so that I have a nice base for the actual forge itself. Try to get this stuff off as I can and not waste too much of it. All right, everybody, we're back, and let me show you what I got. I ended up using a Monster can instead of using the MAP gas bottle. My only problem is some of it is stuck down in there in the bottom, but eventually that will either melt out or just not be an issue. Now, the next thing we're going to be doing is adding in a hole for the torch and then an air hole in the back. All right, the first key thing that you have to do when you're going to do your holes is you need to know what size your tip is. Now this tip is about 5/8. Right now I only have a 1/2 inch. I've got a 3/4 around here somewhere. So I'm going to do a starter hole, then put the hole in the back, and then I got to find my other one. But you need to make sure you know how big your tip is so you know how big your hole needs to be. All right. For this, I'm doing it the opposite side of the split. Ooh, nose running. All right. Okay. So you saw I just did that right there. The inside of the plaster is about 1 inch or so down. And now I want to do it about roughly halfway. So let's get a nice little starter spot. Here we go. And now all you do is drill. Okay, one thing I've just noticed is the plaster on the inside here is not completely dry, which is okay because I'm just going to do this and then I am going to let it sit on the bottom. Ow. And slice the crap out of myself. We've got a hole. So now I'm gonna go find my 3/4 bit and I'll bring you guys back. Forgot to film drilling it out the rest of the way. My bad. All right, everybody. Got it all done. Now I'm just, the big thing is you just gotta let it dry out. It's gonna take a good 24 hours to dry out. I've got this fire going. Just gotta put it in there just for the heck of it. Let me turn the phone. All right, so this is part 1, building your forge. Part 2 will be actually hooking it up and getting it safely mounted, I guess is a good phrase. Then part 3 will be actually using the forge for just a test burn with metal, just to see if I can get it up to temperature and everything. And then part 4 will actually be banging out something. So I hope you guys stay with me for the ride and enjoy the ride. And if you guys got questions, comments, constructive criticism, please let me know. Later.